Hello everyone. The charity of the month is Family Fund. Their aim is to provide items and services to low-income families in the UK to help them with raising disabled or seriously ill children. There's more information in the description box below. This story happened to me about a year ago, and it still bothers me to this day. I live in a particularly rough town in northern England. In my uni days, I got into the habit of running at night, around midnight. This takes place in December, and if you've ever been to England or lived here, you know that December time is particularly cold, and this day it was icy, so the roads were covered in ice and so was the pavement. But I wasn't deterred. I still wanted to go for my run. It clears my head running at midnight like no other time of day does. So, to get to the story, I put my coat on, I put my shoes on, and I left the house. I turn left and start running down the road. I'm starting to slip a little bit, but everything's fine. I turn right. I'm now jogging past some trees, some horses, the old church, and everything's perfect. This is my perfect kind of run, even though it was particularly cold and icy. I turn left again, and I end up on this particularly long stretch of road. It's about 2 miles and completely straight. No one's ever there. There's trees on either side that sort of cover from the top, so no rain can really get through. It's like something out of a fairy tale, but I love it. Now, this is what we call in England a country road. So it's a very narrow road, and normally you can't see around the corners, but on this road, as I say, it was completely straight, but completely blocked off by all the trees on either side, so even during the day, not much light can get through. So I'm just running with my music blaring, so I can't really hear anything around me. There's some streetlights, but not too many, so I can dimly see what's ahead of me. I get about a mile down the road, so about halfway, and I can see the silhouette of something in the distance. I can't really tell what it is, but it looks like a car and a man. But I ignore it and I just keep running. Sometimes cars break down, sometimes you get lorry drivers that pull over on the side just to rest, so I don't really think anything of it. I keep running when all of a sudden I see a big group of people. Now when I say a big group, I mean 4 or 5, but for that time of night, and that's a lot of people just to be standing in the road. I then notice that they have their hoodies up. This is when I'm starting to get a little bit freaked out. I sort of slow down to try and suss out the situation. That's when the car turns on, and so do the headlights. So I'm kind of blinded at this point by full beam headlights. That's when I hear another car coming from behind me. And this is where I start to get really, really freaked out and realise that something's massively off with this situation. I turn around and I see another group of people stop their car and get out. I'm pretty much isolated here. I don't know what these people want from me. If I turn left or right, there's nothing but forests and fields. I decide that could be an escape route, but if I do go that way, how do I even get out? There's fields for miles here, and I'm really, really freaked out, and I just feel like I'd lose my bearings if I just ran off into the random woods. Also, who could be there? Could it be a trap? I don't know. All of a sudden, these cars turn on and the people jump in. The cars start coming towards me, not particularly fast, but also not slow, as if they're trying to sandwich me in. I turn to run away, but as I turn I slip and twist my ankle. As I say, icy roads, December time in England. I'm absolutely terrified now. I stand up, trying to play it off as if I didn't realise what was happening, but I was so aware. At this point, I decide my best option is probably to try and play it cool, so I try and keep walking down the path. This is when the car stops right next to me, and these men, whose faces I can't see, are all just looking back at me, and the other car stops just behind me. I try to turn around, but at this point, someone grabs my arm. So I decide to do what I know best. The adrenaline hits me, and I book it out of there. I turn left and dart into the trees and tear into the woods. The men try and follow after me, but the bushes are quite thick here, and the trees are kind of blocking me, so they can't really see where I'm going. So I'm zigzagging in and out of trees in the forest, darting down the road. I can still feel my ankle throbbing, but the adrenaline's so high at this point, I just keep going. I must have ran for at least 15 minutes in a straight line, zigzagging constantly. I turn around and they're gone, but as you can imagine, I'm in the middle of nowhere at this point. I can hear a little stream somewhere nearby, but apart from that, deafening silence. Do I go back the way I came? Where even am I? I head back to where I came from, but I quickly realise that I don't recognise any of the features that I just ran past. I don't even know if I'm going in the same direction anymore. I'm completely disorientated, and it must be 1 in the morning, and I'm freezing cold now. The adrenaline's wearing off and my ankle's throbbing. I just don't know what to do. My phone's on low battery too, maybe 20%, so I don't want to keep using it. I decide my best option is to calm down for 5 to 10 minutes and then make a plan. I realise that the men must have given up at this point, but are they waiting for me? I honestly don't know. I decide to head back in that general direction I think I came from. Still, no idea whether I was even going the right way. After walking for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I realise that I can't see the way out, and I should probably see it by now. I turn back again and decide to head towards running water. I remember watching a Bear Grylls program about 2 years ago where he was talking about following streams, and they normally lead to civilization. I know I'm probably not that lost, but with no light whatsoever and my eyes kind of adjusted to the light, I can't really see where I'm going still. So I decide just to follow what I can hear, and I find the stream and just keep following it. I eventually come out at the end of another road about 20 minutes later, still not sure where I am. At this point, I see a sign on the road and realise I'm probably a few miles from my house. I decide to slowly limp back to where my house is, but on the edge of the road, so if any cars do come past, I can't be seen. That's got to be the scariest walk I've ever had back to my house. I was really trying to keep tucked in because every car that came past, I thought it could be them again. I made it back home and put some ice on my ankle and just tried to reflect on the whole situation. My advice to everyone out there is don't go running at night, particularly not midnight if you're on your own. Boy or girl, it doesn't make a difference. Anything can happen to you. To the guys that actually did this to me, I don't know what you want. I don't have anything that you could want, and I really hope that I never see them again. This happened in 2019, but it's still in the back of my mind. I worked at Chick-fil-A. That night I was supposed to close, but I left at like 8 p.m-ish. I already know that I'm going to spend like 30 to 45 minutes driving around to my usual Pokemon stops. At 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, there's some cars on the road, but not too many. Smaller town with little police presence. Not much crime happens here. I've done this before, and I know which spots to go to. I'm driving to the spots I know I can reach from the inside of my car. Just got off work from standing and being busy all day. I wasn't about to go walking around when it was dark out anyways. The places I know have little to no cars at them. I pull into the parking lot by the high school field, spin the stops and click on a few Pokemon. I get ready to pull on the residential street. I'm kind of just sitting at the stop sign for a bit. No cars behind me. I'm not really in a hurry. Blinker. Then I turn onto the street. I see two cars in front of me, an older white SUV and a sedan in front of that. They're about 4 blocks ahead. I notice the SUV isn't really in its lane. It's driving in the middle of the road, like it wants to pass the sedan. It definitely could have passed it. The road was really wide with no oncoming cars. I'm glancing down at my phone in the cup holder, trying not to go too fast. Kind of want walking points. I then notice that the SUV that was driving in the middle of the road is driving really slow on the shoulder of the road. Maybe they noticed me, wondering what I'm doing. Maybe I'm weirding them out. I click my phone shut and drive normally. I'm nearly behind the SUV now, and it speeds up quickly. Takes a hard right onto a street. I see the SUV pull into a driveway. As I'm passing that side of the street, I see the SUV going in reverse, and now it's backing out on the driveway. I'm behind the other sedan now, at a 4-way stop. In my rearview mirror, I see the white SUV turning back on the street. It's now going behind me. The sedan waits its turn at the 4-way stop, and then turns left. I wait my turn, then go straight. I'm waiting to see if the white SUV goes straight too. It does. The SUV has to wait its turn at the 4-way stop, so I'm good for 4 to 6 blocks ahead on this residential street. I want to lose this car, so I'm going like 30 miles per hour when the speed is maybe 20-25. I turn behind the church strip mall, and the church has a playground behind it, but it's pretty much an alleyway. I lost the SUV. I stopped in the alleyway, waiting, looking in my side mirror, and sure enough, the white SUV is barreling down the street. It almost passed me. It was going so fast, but it spots me and turns into the alleyway where I'm parked, coming towards my car. I'm freaking out at this point. The alleyway / street is dark. There's no street lights. The stores in the strip mall are abandoned, but the church is on the other side and it's well lit, so I want to go there. I speed down the alley and around the building. The SUV is doing the same thing. I turn around the building, can't see them in my rear view. I stop my car and park in front of the well lit church doors, basically parked in the fire lane. I'm watching my rear view mirror, waiting for this car. I know it's back there and it's going to drive around me. They'll see it was all just a misunderstanding. The SUV is there. It peeks around the building corner. They stop and wait a little before it turns towards where I'm parked. The SUV slowly drives by my car. They pass me slowly, and I don't want to look at them. From my peripheral vision, I just see one outline in the driver's seat. As they pass me, I can feel the person's eyes on me, and can see their head turning. I'm uncomfortable, but I don't want to start a conversation with them, so I don't roll down my windows. I don't want to look at them. I don't want them to acknowledge them. I just really want them to see I'm definitely not who they probably thought I was. They pass me completely and the SUV starts to drive towards the exit of the parking lot. But then the SUV starts to circle around again, making a big loop around the empty church parking lot. My body fills with dread. I'm actually scared now. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, but now they're coming back around. I don't want to know what they want anymore. When they start to circle back around, I take off out of the parking lot, but so do they. My car bottoms out and I speed down the street. So does theirs. The police station is a way out near the countryside on the outskirts of town, but there's a police annex on this street. Sometimes there's cops parked out front. I know I'm just going to park there, and if they're still following me, I'll call 911. This car is following me 100%. They've turned when I've turned, sped up when I've sped up, and as I turn my blinker to take the right into the annex, they turn left and they're gone. I told my friends and family about this quickly after. No one I knew drove that kind of car. It also was an older model, so I don't think it could have been a rental. I don't know anyone who would do this to me and think it was funny. I did make a police report, but didn't get a license plate, so they couldn't do anything. I also know what kind of car it was. I would notice any older white SUV for months after. Never saw that exact car again. Every summer, my family and I venture north for several weeks, as do most other families in my state. The town we visited wasn't far from another sprawling town on a lake. Despite my overall disdain for most people and traffic, the area was pleasant most of the time. Additionally, 2 friends of mine also visited the area, and we would meet with each other at least 2 or 3 days out of the 2 weeks I was there. The names of my friends are Ozzy and Jack, and we're all the same age and live in the same town back home, so we know one another quite well. Anyway, one evening when I rode my bike over to the general store where we'd all meet, only Jack was there. For context, Jack is always 5 to 10 minutes late, and Ozzy was always there at least 20 minutes before me, seeing as though he could just walk from where his family's cabin was to the store. So this took me slightly by surprise. So I asked Jack where Ozzy was, and he said, "Didn't you get the message? He said he found something and was going to take a while before he got back." I was confused when he stated this, as I didn't remember getting a message from my group chat. But sure enough, when I opened my messages, there was one that wasn't opened. The message read something along the lines of, "I'm going to be a little late. I found something really cool." So me and Jack waited about an hour in front of the store, waiting for Ozzy. When he finally showed up, but he didn't have his bike, which I found downright weird, seeing as he cherished that thing. Before we could say anything, Ozzy immediately said, "You guys have to check out this building I found. Come on, let's go." I asked him where his bike was, and he just responded with, "It's back at my cabin. You probably want to leave your bikes here if you want to get to the place I found." So we obliged, and changed our bike to the lamppost. We followed Ozzy down a main road until we came up to a gravel side street with a no outlet sign. Ozzy pointed at the gravel road and said, "Down here. It's going to be past the end of the road, so expect some hiking." When we came onto the gravel road, I noticed nearly instantly that there were very few homes on this road, which was bizarre for such a well-populated area at that time of year we were visiting. About a quarter of the way down this decrepit and unkempt road, at least by Ozzy's measurement, Jack asked what this building was that Ozzy had found, and Ozzy responded by saying that it was an abandoned, odd-looking grey brick building with a metal roof shaped like a half circle, similar to a greenhouse. I asked if he entered the building yet, and Ozzy said that he tried the front door, but it got stuck on something. After Ozzy said this, Jack asked if Ozzy knew for certain that this building was abandoned, and Ozzy responded by saying that some of the windows were broken, and the entire back end of the house next to it was destroyed. After Ozzy mentioned this, we all agreed that if we can get into this facility, we can make it a hideout where Ozzy and Jack could smoke, seeing as though I don't, but I thought it would be fun to have that sort of thing nonetheless. After about an hour of walking, we finally reached the end of the road. At this point, it was 7 o'clock in the evening, and it was becoming noticeably darker under the canopy of trees on this essentially destitute road, so I was beginning to have second thoughts, but I kept my mouth shut because Ozzy wasn't the best person to argue with, if you catch my meaning. So we proceeded into the woods for what I would guess was about a mile, when we stumbled into a clearing with a big bungalow-style house and a building that Ozzy described to us to the left of it. We waited for give or take 3 minutes to see if the coast was clear, and then we made our way to the building. Ozzy's disconcertment almost precisely fit the appearance of the facility. It was roughly 10 feet tall, with a curved roof, made with sheet steel, not unlike what you'd find on barns or utility sheds. Ozzy was now excited, and when he went up to the door, he mentioned to us to help him open it, so that's just what we did. And to this day, I regret ever going anywhere near that clearing. We opened the door with relative ease, but what came next was completely unexpected. Something fell from the table blocking the door, and it sounded vaguely wet, and when Ozzy had shined his flashlight in the general direction of where the sound occurred, we saw, and I'm not joking, a severed alligator head with strings of flesh and muscle still attached. At around this time, the smell of the interior hit all of us, and I vomited, with Ozzy and Jack proceeding to gag. Mind you, we were all in a place nowhere near a natural habitat for alligators, about 1,000 miles to be exact, so this was beyond weird just to find the head of one lying in a building on the other side of the continent. Ozzy, being as stubborn as ever, shined his light even further into the building, and all we saw were pieces of various reptiles all over the place. We had also seen syringes and vats on long tables, along with blood smeared across most of the surfaces that weren't covered with a multitude of reptile parts. At that moment, we opted to get out of there, Jack whispered. the hell? At this, Ozzy and I turned to where Jack was looking and found that one of the lights was on one of the downstairs rooms of the seemingly abandoned house, and someone was walking to the front door. What looked to be a man stepped out and issued a nearly deafening scream that sent us running through the woods back to the road. None of us mentioned what happened to our parents, and it's been 5 years since that ensued. Not a day passes where I don't think about it. Edit. There's been several complaints pertaining to my lack of elaboration as to what happened after the events of the story. I will state here that it's roughly 2 or so weeks after this did occur, and we, or at least I did, revealed to our parents what happened that night. I had only done so as my parents can be rather stringent at times, and didn't want to be punished for something that was otherwise a freak and arbitrary mistake. Additionally, someone within the comments posted 2 links to a general area of where me and my friends were. It may be where the place was, but again, I do not precisely remember where the facility and house were in the forest. Hello everyone, this is the part of the video where there's no more stories, so if that's what you're here for, then there's plenty more stories on my channel, and there's loads of other better channels out there than mine that do stories better than I do, so this is the part where I'm just going to waffle, so if that's what you're here for, that's why I'm here too. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell in my voice that I am absolutely knackered, but I am. I'm so tired. I haven't stopped a week, and I've been non-stop since 5 AM this morning, and I'm just settling down now, and it's sort of 9:30 at night. But yeah, I'm in the mood to talk to you guys. It's been on my mind all day. I've wanted to talk to you guys. I just nothing specific really. I don't make it sound like I was making an announcement. I'm not. I just wanted to record something, and in a few weeks there's going to be lots more videos coming, like more consistently, which I'm so happy I'm able to do. I'm finally a bit more free and able to do things, so that'd be really, really nice. I'm just mainly looking forward to putting out some more content that I'm actually proud to make. And you know, I loved making the history videos, so I'm going to make more of those, I think. If any of you haven't listened to this bit before, this is just like a massive update and rambling about absolute nonsense, so it's pretty boring, so I wouldn't listen to it, but I know that some of you guys like listening to it. And you know what, I love the interaction I get on here. I enjoy this more than the stories at this point. I wish I could just cut the stories and just do 5 scary waffling stories, just ramble the whole time. That would be that's the goal, that's the ultimate. But unfortunately no one listened to that, so I just sneak it in at the end. But yeah, that's what I normally do. There's a new charity of the month that I've mentioned at the start of this video, so there's a link in the description to that, so please check that out. If you don't know about it, it's just where I donate some of my own money every month. Like, I'm not rich, I don't have loads of money. I donate what I can every month to a charity, and I just recommend it to you guys too, just to take a look. It's really nice that you guys interact on that, and it's the thing on this channel that I'm absolutely the most proud of, is having people message me say they've checked out the charity of the month and help support too. And I love that. I absolutely love the fact that this is being used as a way to help people, even though it's a small amount of people, you know. And I understand that. I understand it's not a huge impact, and my small amount of money doesn't make much difference, but I like the idea of making some difference, and you guys help too, and I really, really, really appreciate it. It means a massive amount to me when you guys check out the charities and recommend your own. But yeah, I am sitting here. Do you know what? I was coming home tonight, and the trains are awful. And if you guys live in the area of London right now, you know what I'm on about with the trains. Jesus Christ, they're appalling. What is up with the trains? It took me almost 3 hours to get home. Why is it taking me 3 hours to get home? It's like 10 miles. Honestly, it was an absolute nightmare at the moment. If you guys live in London, you absolutely know right now. It's horrible. The trains are just not running. There's cancellations. There's strikes. You can't get anywhere, and everywhere's rammed because there's like one a year that seems to turn up, and it's absolutely rammed. But yeah, so I've been having problems with the train. So where I was going with that story is basically I was planning to eat healthy this evening. I had like a whole dinner planned in my head. Like I was gonna have either I'm not saying it's hugely healthy. I was gonna have pasta, but I was gonna make something like all those little potatoes, are sweet potatoes, spring? No, sweet. Is it sweet potatoes? Yeah, with like vegetables, a little bit of mashed potato and some fish or something. I was gonna make something like that, but I was so hungry at the train station, and I did try to go to a Pret as well, but the Pret was shut. So, and there's no other places nearby. So I ended up having to go to. It sounds like a load of old, but it's not. I had to go to the Burger King. I had to go to the Burger King. Oh, yeah, I bet you did, mate. You had to go to the Burger King. No, I did. The only thing that was open was a Burger King, and I had a. To be fair, I did take the mick a bit. I had like an XL double cheeseburger large meal, so it wasn't my finest hour, but it was amazing. Sitting there waiting for the train for like an hour, but at least I had a massive burger and chips and a drink. I know that it's not good for me whatsoever, but in my head I justified that I tried. I know that's not enough. Sometimes trying just isn't enough now, is it? Not when it comes to your diet. That's the problem. I just scoffed it down as well. Like, I'm quite a fast eater. I don't know about you guys, but I eat like a seagull. Like, it's just down. No, there's no chewing. It's just gone. It's just swallow it whole. But I do love Burger King. And do you know what? I think it's a bit of a controversial opinion. This, I honestly think that Burger King is better than McDonald's. But like, hear me out on it. Like, I think Burger King does the best burgers by far. They're much better than McDonald's little rubbish things they do. But McDonald's do better nuggets, and the drinks are always nice from McDonald's. Like, they're really, really crisp. I don't know what it is about a McDonald's Coke or Sprite. They're just better. My drinking Burger King today was just flat. It was just horrible. Like, just tasted like it'd been sitting there a week. And the chips in Burger King aren't great either. The McDonald's chips are better. And obviously McDonald's, you got the McFlurry as well, and that can't be beaten really. But the Burger Kings are like twice the size. To be fair, you have to take out a mortgage to get anything at Burger King in London. It's like, it cost me about 10 quid for a burger. Like, I was so annoyed about spending that much money on a burger meal, considering I already had food at home I was going to eat. But I thought, you know what, I am starving. It was like 7 o'clock at night. I hadn't eaten since like midday, and when you're holding out and you get to that point where you're just so hungry, you're getting really grumpy, and you're just, I don't know, you get a headache, you're grumpy, you just needed something, I just needed it. I needed something to eat then. I couldn't wait. I mean, I probably could have, but I didn't want to. And John's like, it's Friday evening, I'm knackered, I just want to go home, and the trains are messed up, and just think, oh, I know it sounds like I'm proper whinging, and I am proper whinging, but this is a fresh wound, this one. Them trains, I'll tell you what. Oh, but anyway, how have you guys been? What have you all been up to? To be honest with you, it's been so long since I spoke to a lot of you, like since we did this, and not massively long, but it's been a while. It's been like over a week or two. So I'd like to know like what's going on in you guys' life. Like, obviously no personal information, like obviously, the obvious stuff like your name, your address and stuff. But I mean, like, what's just in general, what's been going on in your life? That's the sort of thing I'm interested in. Like, how's work going? How's school going? How's uni? How's whatever you're doing, your sport you do? How's your family? What have you been up to? Like, what's your hobbies? What have you been up to? Just let me know. I'm genuinely, I know a lot of other channels lie about it, and they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to talk to you, and they don't, do they? But I actually do. That's why I do this bit at the end, just to talk to you lot, because I just don't like the lack of interaction. Genuinely, I've said it so many times, the only reason I actually keep uploading at this point is just to talk to you lot and have the comments. Otherwise, I don't see the point. Like, yeah, I do enjoy narrating stories, but it's the interaction with you lot that actually I love. I genuinely love it. So I'd love to know what you guys have been up to. So please let me know. Let me know where you're from. Like, are you planning on going away in the summer? Like, even if it's in your own country, like, are you planning on going anywhere? Like, in England, a lot of people go to places like Cornwall and those sort of places. Like, but the thing is, at the moment, right, if you want to go on holiday in England, you are literally paying as much money to go abroad. You're better off going to Spain than you are to go to England, like other parts of England. Like, it's pretty much the same amount of money. So you might as well just go abroad for the price. Like, in England, like, I was looking at, this is about, like, last year, I remember I was looking to go away. I wanted to go to, it was Cornwall I wanted to go to, I think, actually. Somewhere right down south it was. I can't remember, it was Cornwall, what might have been, like, what's that place near Plymouth? I can't remember. But yeah, I wanted to go down south somewhere, like Brighton area. But it's so expensive. I was looking at places and it's like, for like, not obviously not like all inclusive or anything, like just for bed and breakfast or whatever, for a week somewhere, you're literally looking at like £400 or £500. You're better off just going. You can go to Spain for £500 all inclusive. Like, and be guaranteed good weather. So you might as well go to Spain. Like, it's too much money. It's just too much. Everything's gone up at the minute as well. I'm guessing it's gone up like globally. I don't really look at the news. I don't really know what's going on really. Like, some things I know that's going on, but I don't look at the news even in England, let alone the world. So most of the time I don't have a clue what's going on. But in England, the price of fuel and everything is ridiculous. Like, having to cut back on things is so annoying. Like, even heating, like, even now I'm sitting here with my fan on because it is baking. I'm sitting there thinking, how much electricity is this using? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's so bad. You got like people, especially in the winter in England, it's so cold, and you've got old people that can't afford to heat their homes. I just think it's so wrong. It really upsets me. Like, this is the thing. This is why I don't watch the news. I get too emotionally invested in things. Like, I get too upset about things. Like, not upset as in like I'm really angry. Upset as in like I feel bad for other people. That's why I can't watch it. The same as like when I see all these things like that go on in the world, like all the like horrible tragedies. I can't like just get it. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't look at it because it just upsets me, and I don't know. Like, I just feel bad for people. And I think that's why I love doing the charity of the month. I know it's helping people that really need help. And even then when I'm looking at the, like, what they do and everything, it just upsets me. Even now, I feel upset just even talking about, like, thinking about the different charities, like Headway, and like how the people, like, what they're going through, and like some of the families of, you know, the charities that we've supported. It just upsets me. But yeah, I'm gonna stop going on now. Yeah. I know I was talking about my diet, and the next thing I just realised I got like a half-eaten pack of custard creams. I love custard creams, I really do. I think they're god tier biscuits, absolutely. I want to know what you guys rate different biscuits as well, because for me, god tier, right? You got god tier, good tier, average, below average, terrible, right? I've probably forgotten all of those, but god tier, right? Bourbon, custard cream, Fox's golden syrup, it might be, something like that. You know what ones I mean, if you've had it. God tier, those three. Stick them in god tier. Do you know what can go right down in terrible? Actually, no, that's harsh. They're just bad. Malted milk. The ones with the cows on the front. They're just terrible. They're not good, are they? They're just no good. Stick them down there somewhere. They're no good. The ones that say nice on the front, they taste nice, right? They've got like a weird crunchy aftertaste. They leave it like some weird like bits in your mouth, and they break off straight away as soon as you put them in the in your tea. So they're not great. Average. Them nice ones, average. Do you know what? Another one for God tier, Maryland cookies. They go straight up there. They're brilliant to dunk it. Another one for God tier, not even God tier, goat tier. Jammy Dodgers. Absolutely love Jammy Dodgers. I had a little phase about 6 months ago. I was having a double pack of Jammy Dodgers every day. I was buying a big bottle of Lucozade, and if you're from America or wherever else, it's Gatorade but fizzy. I was having a massive Lucozade bottle and a whole double pack of Jammy Dodgers. Then I was sitting there going, oh, why have I put weight on? That's beyond me. But but yeah, now I've cut that out. I've actually lost some weight. I've actually lost quite a lot of weight just from cutting out just rubbish. There's so much rubbish in my diet. I was eating like just stuff like that every day, and today I ate not very well, and like even today I feel like ugh. Do you know, you just feel like ugh, just not good in yourself because you feel like so bloated. That's how I feel. That's how I used to eat every day, and it was beyond me what I was putting weight on at the time. But now I look at it, I was like, I was eating so much rubbish, and I wasn't really exercising as much as I should have been. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's easily done, isn't it? Well, you got to go to the shops and buy the stuff. It's not that easily done, but you know what I mean. Like, I wasn't eating good, and I know I wasn't eating good. It was my fault. I put weight on. I know it was my fault. I take responsibility for it. As annoying as it was, I still weigh more than I want to weigh, but I'm at a more. I mean, I wasn't at an unhealthy weight then, but like I feel better in myself now. I've lost like 6 pounds or something. I know it's not huge, but you know, just from changing diet, that's quite a lot of weight. I had fish and chips the other day. There's a fish and chip shop down my road now. They've opened a new one, like not down my road, but like a bit further down than down my road. It was really nice. I'm very impressed. Would recommend. It was. I love fish and chips. There's loads of like kebabs. Like it's full. My whole town is just kebab central. Like a couple of pizzas places, but like mainly like kebabs. Everything is just big fat greasy kebabs, doner kebabs, which I don't mind. I like a kebab, but it's nice to have a bit of variation. Some fish and chips. Do you know what I mean? What's your favourite takeaway? Do you know what? I've got enough. I know this is a bit of a food heavy little chat, but I think Indian tastes better in a restaurant and Chinese tastes better as a takeaway. Tell me you don't agree with that, and if you don't agree with that, then I don't know what's wrong with you, really. Like, it's just the truth. Chinese is a banging takeaway, but it's not that nice in a restaurant. Like a buffet, it's not all that. But if you're having it in like in a takeaway bag, it's so much better. Same as like fish and chips as well. I think fish and chips just taste better when they're in a takeaway. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. That's probably, I don't know. Yeah. Like another one that like we have in English, like pie and mash, but I'm not a massive fan. Like liquor just tastes a bit weird. And some people have jellied eels. Oh god. Of all the things you could eat, jellied eels, there's a nice bit of cod on the side and some chips. A sausage. Who wants the shriveled up, blended, jellied eel? Oh. Disgusting. It is disgusting. It really, really is. I don't know how long I spoke for, to be honest with you. Probably a bit too long. Well, I don't know. You know, I probably should end this soon. I'm actually really enjoying sitting here talking to you. I need to do it more often. But yeah, let me know what you guys have been up to. Like, what's been going on in your life? Let me know. I'm going to end this now because I've properly been waffling for ages. So, have a good weekend, guys. Or whatever day I upload this. No, I'm saying weekend. It's my weekend. But, yeah. Right. Love you all. Link in the description to the charity of the month. And I'll see you soon. Love you all. Bye.